All right, everybody. Welcome to Muckin N Grindin. A little bit different today because we're outside. It's a beautiful evening. Got a beer going. Got the cigar going. Going to do a little hockey talk here. We got the Pens starting their playoff round on Saturday at noon. Going with the yellow unis. Not that really makes much of a difference. Some guys are really superstitious. Some are not. Some of the storylines from I have all my notes on my phone here, so you can see me looking down a little bit here and there. The Caps and Bruins would be the Zdeno Chara show, I guess, for them. Big Z coming back to, play in a playoff game versus the Bruins, his team he was with for a long time after he left Ottawa. That series really doesn't interest me too much, just for the fact of I can't stand either team. They are kind of like the Flyers to me, those three teams. Flyers, Caps, and Bruins. I can't stand any of them. I think the Caps will eventually, somehow, some way, take the series. I think it'll go 7 games. It is what it is. I mean, I just that's kind of how I feel. I mean, I'll go over how I feel about the Pens afterwards. Hurricanes and Predators. I love the Predators in this series. I think Carolina was punching above their weight, out of their weight class. I think they were just feasting off the bad teams that are in their division. Nashville finished the season extremely hot. Plus, I love the style of play that they have. They're gonna be great. My dogs are out here too, so you're gonna hear a little bit of them chirping in now and then. They're two doofuses, so you're gonna hear them, but it's all right. Hey, I like the Predators in 6 in this series. Panthers and Tampa Bay. Even though Tampa Bay is getting Kucherov and Stamkos back for Game 1. Kucherov's been off pretty much the whole season. Stamkos, I'm not exactly sure, what ailments he had going on. But I don't know. I like the Panthers in this series. I like the Panthers in 7. Even though Stamkos and Kucherov are coming back, 2 of the better players in the league. Vasilevsky was human this year instead of superhuman like usual. I still like I like Florida in 7. The goaltending for Carolina in that Predators series is going to be with them in Carolina and Nashville is going to be the goaltending for Carolina. Mrazek and he's one of those goaltenders that I like. Even in Detroit, big pressure games, he wasn't that great of a goaltender. The North Division, we have the Leafs and Canadians. The whole Canada, Captain Canada, TSN, all those things are taking the Maple Leafs and running with it. Well, not this guy. This guy has taken the Canadians in 7. Montreal has played very well down the stretch. Carey Price has found his game again. And the addition of Cole Caulfield to that lineup has made it where they have a couple good scoring lines now. And I like Cole Caulfield. I really wish he would have fell to the Pens a couple years ago in the draft, but it didn't happen. Same with Joel Farabee like 3 years ago. I would have loved the Pens to get that kid. The other matchup in the North is the Oilers and Jets. I like the Oilers just for Connor McDavid. The fact that McDavid has basically lit up the league this year, scoring-wise, and Draisaitl was not far behind, even though he's 20 points behind, but the next guy to Draisaitl was 17 points behind. So, like, those two, if you could shut them both down somehow, some way, and Mike Smith has been playing very well for Edmonton. Their defense is kind of solid. But as long as Mike Smith being the X factor in that series, I like Edmonton. I take Edmonton in 6. There's always different things that you got to watch for and stuff like that. The Avalanche and Blues, the Avalanche taking the President's Trophy. President's Trophy doesn't mean much. It means you have the most points. It's one of those things. Sometimes the President's Trophy means absolutely nothing. The Avalanche and Blues, I'll take the Avalanche in 6. They're a pretty full and solid team. St. Louis, I don't think they have enough scoring depth to keep up with Colorado on this one. Colorado's got good team speed. Cale Makar on defense, his kid's amazing. Nathan McKinnon, Landeskog, and Mikko Rantanen are a hard line to defend against. You try to shut that line down, and then you got 2, P.E. Belmar and a couple of these other guys, Yost. These guys they're a well put together team. They kind of remind me of the Penguins in a way because they can run 3 to 4 solid lines. Then we got the Vegas Golden Knights and the Minnesota Wild, which is going to be a hard fought series. I honestly think this series can go 7 games, only for the fact that the Minnesota Wild play a good solid team defense. They roll their lines constantly, and they play a good, solid checking game. They kind of remind you of the Islanders in a way, where they're a good structure. But the key for Minnesota is Kirill to throw Kaprizov. The kid's amazing. I spoke to this last week. He's the leading scorer. He's probably going to get the Rookie of the Year. He had 51 points in 55 games with 27 goals. The kid's great. I mean, he's one of those kids that you enjoy watching, whether he plays. Like, I don't care if you like him or he plays for Minnesota. He's one of those kids that you can watch, and enjoy the way that he plays. With the Golden Knights, though, Fleury looks like he seems to be getting the nod in that to start. He's also a Vezina finalist, I'm pretty sure, this year. So hopefully he gets that trophy this year because it's well-deserved. But I could see that series going 6 or 7 games, but I will have to take the Golden Knights in that series just for the fact of Fleury. Big Fleury fan. Plus the scoring depth that they have it's going to be hard for Minnesota to keep pucks out of the net. So with that being said, we will jump back to your Penguins and Islanders. This matchup, I was reading with the NHL Network site, with TSN and Sportsnet and stuff like that. The half of the people that they asked for picked the Islanders to win this series. Not exactly sure why, because Semyon Varlamov had a .897 save percentage against the Pens this year. The Pens were 6-2 versus the Islanders this year, and outscored them a lot. The fact that we added Jeff Carter at the trade deadline, he had 9 goals in 14 games with the Pens, which is unheard of. My wife and daughter are home, so the dogs are going crazy. But the fact that there's the X factor for me in this series is not Jeff Carter, it's not Brian Ross, it's not Sid, it's not Gino, things like that. It is the fact that we have I had enough. The X factor for me in this series is Jared McCann. Jared McCann has thrived playing with Jeff Carter. He has someone to look up to. Reading all the reports from Jared McCann and other sports writers in this town, that he has done nothing but listen to everything he has told him. which is fantastic. So hopefully we'll be able to get both of them back, in the lineup next year, because Jared McCann is a free agent. So hopefully we'll be able to bring him back. I'm pretty sure Jeff Carter is also. I have to take a look, but I'm pretty sure they both are free agents, which I have a feeling if they make a deep run, they'll be able to bring them both back. But Jared McCann leading the team in power play goals with 7 this season is huge. But that third line, it seems to be a third line now. Freddie Gaudreau, Jeff Carter, and Jared McCann. It's a fantastic line to watch because they do every little thing right. They get back, they play team defense, they know where each other are. It's kind of uncanny how those guys are, how well they play together. And the other big thing for me is that fourth line for the Pens, which may probably match up against the Islanders' fourth line of Clutterbuck, Cizikas, and Matt Martin, is Teddy Bluger, Zach Aston-Reese, and Turbo Brandon Tanev, who will be back in the lineup. And I don't really consider them a fourth line. I consider them to be to the second line of Carter, McCann, and Gaudreau is 2A, and then those guys are 2B, and then 1A is, Rust, Crosby, and Gensel. 1B is, Kapanen, Malkin, and Zucker. And also, do not sleep on the fact that Kasperi Kapanen will probably light it up if Gino is able to stay healthy. One of the things that does scare me is the fact that if Gino does happen to get hurt again and goes out, what they're going to do in the lineup with them going forward. Goaltending is with Tristan Jarry not having any playoff experience except the one game against Montreal last year. We shall see what happens. Behind me, little goofball. But congratulations to her. She's a senior this year. We have one more softball game left. I get to watch her play one more game, coach her one more game. It's fun.
Don't cry.
I'm not. The Pens with Tristan Jarry, as long as they keep him insulated and he keeps his rebounds under control, which he's done a fantastic job of this season. And as long as Chris Letang keeps left out to dry, Mike Matheson will be back in the lineup also, I'm pretty sure, because he's been skating full contact at practice. I'm not sure if he's still wearing the face cage to protect the stitches in his face. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what this Pens team will do. And to be honest with you, I'm picking the Pens in five games. And then after the first round, we will go and have another show. And we'll go over, the next round picks so far. But right now, there's still one regular season game or two games on the docket for tonight. I think Edmonton is playing Calgary, and the Jets and Maple Leafs are playing to finish up the season, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, that's kind of the quick little synopsis wrap up of the playoffs for me. Went through the predictions. But yeah, my golden nugget of this first round series is going to be Jared McCann. Him and Jeff Carter, I think, are going to put up some big numbers through this playoff series. I love the fact that our defense is going to play solid too. Cody Ceci and Mike Matheson were at the beginning of the season. If you go back and watch the shows, again, they're not very long, so you can go back and watch them. That I said that everybody was using them as a scapegoat and was using them as whipping boys, and now they're two of the best defensemen that they have. So hopefully we come out on Saturday at noon, come out flying. We'll see what happens, and we'll go through a little recap show later on after the games. Everybody enjoy the playoff games. Boston and Washington will start the playoffs off. I'm pretty sure that's tomorrow evening. And we'll talk to you again soon. Have a good night. Enjoy the playoffs, everybody.